Alright guys, so here are a few tips for Final Fantasy 15 if you're a beginner. Now some of these tips may well help you if you've been playing the game for a little while. If not, these are entirely aimed at people who are new to the game. Make sure you do the tutorial. If you've missed the tutorial, then some of the tips in this video will actually help you. Some of the stuff the game tells you already. Some of the tips here are just to remind you that these things are possible, and that you probably were already told them. Just remember them. Please also bear in mind there will be very mild spoilers. I've recorded footage of me throughout the game, so some of the creatures that I'm taking on in some of these tip demonstrations you may not have come across yet. Okay guys, let's make this the first tip. This is pretty straightforward, this one, but it is essential to know, I think. If you hold down the L3 button, I am playing on the PS4, so that will sprint. That will cause your character to sprint. If you let this sprint run out, this is what will happen. You'll slow down to a crawl. You can't hit L3 to sprint again until your health bar, your stamina bar, has gone green above you. Now, one other thing that's very important, you need to turn that stamina bar on. So if you go into options here, all the way down to stamina, this will toggle the overhead stamina bar. It's off by default, by the way, so go switch it on to allow you to do what actually this tip is all about, and that is this. Instead of it running out, as soon as it hits the S, roughly under ST, hit L3 again, it gives you a boost, refills your stamina bar, and allows you to continue sprinting. You can keep doing this perpetually. Just remember, when you are sprinting, you only need to press the L3 button once. You don't need to keep it pressed down, so you can sit there waiting for it to approach the S underneath ST for stamina. You can do that forever, and you'll never tire again. Alright guys, another tip. When you are traveling in your car, you can actually press the touchpad to watch your progress on the main screen. Here you can see the map. Now, the reason why I'd recommend you do this, certainly early on, is because you can stop the car, jump out if there's something of interest that you maybe want to go check out. So, as you can see, I'm coming up to a junction here, and there looked like there was an item on the side of the road. So what I'm going to do is press the X button here to hop out right now and go and check out exactly what that item is. Okay, you're also going to want to make sure you talk to all the chefs in the game. There are chefs or servants or whatever they are, waiters at restaurants around the map. When you talk to them, just simply talk to them, they will show you nearby havens, parking spots, they will show you outposts, and of course procurement points. These are all places of note that you're going to want to visit on the map. Also, you can pick up these bounty hunts from all of these guys as well. These are paid for hunts. There are specific beasts to go out there and kill, and they will all reward you with bounty, gil, and sometimes a reward like pretty hard to get items. These are all worth doing, so please make sure you spend some time doing those. You can take on some of the higher level ones, higher than the level you are, if you're pretty good in combat, but if not, just go for the lower ones. Of course, also, they're there to serve food. Now, what does the food do? It gives you attack boosts, HP boosts. It will give you buffs to your character, recovery rates, in attack speed, attack strength. Make sure every time that you stop somewhere, you have something to eat before you go out for a day's hunting. Okay, every king needs his rest, and where should you sleep at night? Now, there are several places to go, and they all have their differences. There are these little caravans littered around the map with a little bed icon. They will give you an XP boost of 1.2 on top. There's these campsites here, marked there with a little tent symbol. You will get no XP boost, you'll just get your normal XP, but you will get free food. Free food in that it came from your inventory that you might have collected. But the best advantage there is it gives Ignis a little level up for his chefing skills, which will come in handy later in the game, so that's well worth doing. Campsites are also pretty safe places at night if you need them. There's one place needs a special mention here. It's the Golden Key. This is a motel, it's a hotel, a motel, whatever you call it. It gives you twice the amount of XP that you would normally collect anywhere. To stay here, though, costs 10,000 gil. Got that amount of money to throw away? You'll be staying in luxury, but you will at least double your XP. Now, while we're on the subject of where to sleep, at the beginning of the game, don't sleep until the end of Chapter 1 if you can. You'll come somewhere like this, speak to a guy like that, and you'll be very close to the hotel like that I just mentioned, but don't sleep there. If you can, wait until you get to this point in the game and he asks you if you're ready to set sail. You'll be offered this warning you can't go back, but it's cool. You've just completed the quest, A Gentleman's Agreement, and guess what? You get a free stay at the Golden Key, and it will give you double the XP I mentioned in the the earlier tip. So worth doing, so please wait, if you can, until the end of Chapter 1. Leveling up nice and fast there. Okay, so it's an RPG. It's always a good idea to save all the time, as often as you can, just in case. But one of the best tips I can give you, okay, you're in the middle of a battle. What you'll notice is you go, oh crap, these guys are tough. How do I beat them? Right, I'm going to save the game before I go ahead. What you cannot do that in combat. Again, it's a common thing in RPGs, but what you can do in this game, it's quite handy, is run outside that red circle where you're engaged with the enemy. As soon as you're outside that circle, they stop doing anything. They'll just stand there and watch you. It's brilliant. But it also means you can go and save the game. Save it to a slot of your choice. You get 10 free slots in the game, which is pretty useful. Then once you've done that, you can go back and just pretty much pick up where you left off. One thing I will say though is if you've done damage to any of the enemies within that zone, they probably will have healed by the time you go back. So just make sure, if you are a bit nervous, that you save before you go in there and then go and unleash hell. Okay, the game does tell you how to do this, but at the beginning of the game, this is a very powerful thing to remember that you have, okay? The square button is dodge. If you hold it down in battle like I'm doing here, in between strikes, you will naturally dodge anything. Okay, what it will also give you the chance to do is parry an attack. You can pretty much stand there in the middle of the battlefield holding the square button and nothing will really hit you. It's incredible. I think I stand here for a few minutes going, right, come on, come at me. Your character will naturally dodge these moves. It's brilliant until, say, one of them does a leaping attack or a charged attack, giving you the opportunity to parry that attack, just like there. And now I can actually go and perform a very, very powerful attack. Go straight back to the block button. Listen, it can feel a little cheesy, and it's just something I would recommend if you're struggling with combat in the game. Personally, I prefer to just unleash a little bit, use the warp attack as often as possible, which is so powerful, by the way. Honestly, it really, really is powerful. But this is a tip to not neglect your block and parry buttons, because they can really get you out of some trouble in the game, even against some of the most powerful bosses in the game. Alright, so you probably watched enough of this video to notice that during battle my game sort of freezes and allows me to check out each of my enemies in turn. Now this is a particular option, again one you have to turn on, it's not default, is go into options, combat, and then choose the wait option. I'll show you what happens if you take the default. You're standing in the middle of the battlefield, things may be charging towards you, and guess what? You have to think in real time. Well, who wants to do that? So go back into combat, hit the wait option there, and what it will do is it will, if you keep still, don't move your left stick, your controller, don't move your character, and it will put you into this wait mode. Now you do have a wait timer, it doesn't last forever, but it does give you valuable thinking time. Plan your next move, but it's a really good launch point to attack your target with a warp strike. Have a look around, work out exactly what your next move will be. The game does tell you about this, but I would love to remind you that it exists, because it's really cool. Alright, another one for those of you who may have missed the tutorial or you forgot it or whatever, but this is very important. So holding down R1 during your wait mode will scan the beast for various weaknesses. The weaknesses appear on the top left hand side. Tells you the level it's at, but also the things that it is weak to. The weak things are orange, okay? They will kind of buff your attacks. The purple things are nerfing attacks, so they will basically make those kind of attacks weaker. So we noticed that the one of the buffs I could get would be if I used a blizzard attack or something frosty. That when I took that attack, it gave me 4,300 odd points, hit points against that enemy. Now to flip that round the other way, let's go and arm something that was going to be nerfed, going to be weakened. So basically the enemy resists this kind of attack. The Thundara, there you go. It was a little less, a bit less. I had the unfortunate accident of actually hurting myself doing that. And standard attacks are white markers, so the health points that are dealt change colour. So that's the whole point. When you hit them, you see the number of points being deducted from their score, and the orange and the purple will indicate whether it's actually successful or not, and whether you're using the right weapon or not. If you're using something white, like I'm using the daggers here, it would just be a flat line, baseline, normal score against your enemy. Okay, so while we're talking combat, if you can get round behind one of your enemies just like this, you'll be able to hit them from behind. With whatever weapon you have, it will give you a blind side attack. 1.5 times the damage you would normally have dealt, no matter what your attack is. Also, you can get a link attack with one of your colleagues, which will also give you a chance to perform a special attack on your enemy. Once you've got the blind side, you'll see it, you'll hit the circle button to link that attack together. Alright, I'm almost embarrassed to even suggest this, but this is an RPG and it's a open world. For God's sake, just go and explore the game. You'll be surprised what you can find in places you wouldn't have normally looked at if you were just sticking to the main story. I could probably copy and paste that advice, that tip, into any RPG, but I'm going to add it here because it is really worth doing. Of course it is. So there you go. It took me ages to work this out, so I'm adding it to the tips here, is the regalia. Your car has a shop in the glove compartment. Yet you don't need to find a vendor. If you want to sell something, buy something, almost any item, it's really, really useful. It's right there in your car as long as you have it. So cool. Okay, I have to mention the Ascension menu. You will find this, but it's really, really important that you have a good look through it. Have a look through everything, especially the warp strike. It's so cool. One thing you'll find right here under techniques is Ignis's regroup skill. As soon as you can get hold of that in battle, you'll be able to gather all of your forces together, all your guys, whether they're damaged or fallen or whatever. You can pull them all together in a group, huddle them up and go, let's do this, guys. You'll give them back all their HP and MP. It's like resetting them. It's like a mega phoenix, just from Ignis. It's awesome. I said earlier on that I was not going to show you how to get XP, AP or guild grinds or exploits. I'm not going to show you any of that stuff, but I do want to let you know at least one thing about earning gil and mainly what you can sell. You can earn gil, of course, by doing all the side quests, going on all the bounty hunts. Go and do those, absolutely. But you're going to build up over time a whole load of stuff in your inventory that you can get rid of if you want extra money. There are a couple of things, though, I would love you to keep hold of. There's reasons. Debased coins and rare coins. Anything coins. Oracle Ascension coins. Coins. Don't sell them. Trust me, later on you'll know why. There are tons of videos out there on why you don't get rid of those things. I'll tell you why quickly. Debased and rare coins you can use to add Xperi cast to your magic. When you craft magic, it will give you extra XP. The Oracle Ascension coins are used for a side quest a bit later on, so don't get rid of those. Everything else, I would sell surplus. Keep 1 or 2 of everything, treasures that is, and get rid of any surplus weapons or accessories that you just aren't using. Get rid of them and take the money if you need it. Early on I sold everything and didn't realise I needed to keep some stuff. So apart from the items I've mentioned specifically, go sell and earn yourself that extra gil. Alright guys, so thank you so much. I hope those tips were useful for you. If there are other tips that you guys know about, remember this is aimed at beginners. If there are other things that you would suggest people knew about, wanted to hear about, then drop them in the comments down below. Let us know what you thought of the vid. If you did enjoy it, or you found it useful, or you thought it was good advice, then go ahead and click that like button, share it with your friends. Take care guys, and thank you so much for watching. All the best, good luck with the game, and good night.